Yo, what's up, guys? A good and pleasant day, noon, or evening to you, whenever or wherever you are, will be viewing this video of me for this time. In this video, I will be discussing three topics and questions. The first one is that if I consider the Philippines, our country's government is truly democratic, why do I say so? And to begin that, I will be first defining what it means if you saw and heard the word democratic or democracy. The word democracy comes from the Greek word demos meaning people and kratos meaning power. So democracy can be thought as the power of the people, a way of governing that depends on the will of its people or the people. Today, there are as many different forms of the democracy as there are democratic nations in the world. No two systems are exactly the same, and no one system can be taken as a model. There are presidential and parliamentary democracies, democracies that are federal or unitary, democracies that use a proportional voting system. It's the way using in the Philippines. Next one is democracies, ones that use a majoritarian system, democracies that are also monarchies, and so on. The employment of representatives of the people is one aspect of contemporary democratic system that connects them and sets them apart from the old model. Modern democracy utilize elections to choose representatives who are sent by the people to rule on their behalf instead of allowing citizens to actively participate in the creation of laws. Democracy is, in this sense, is referred to as representational. It can claim to be democratic to some extent since it is founded on the two aforementioned tenets of equality to everyone. People frequently refer to nations as becoming democracies as they begin to have elections that are largely free and transparent. However, democracy encompasses much more than simply elections. Therefore, when determining how democratic a nation is, truly makes more sense to focus on the notion of the will of the people that on institutional or voting arrangement. Instead of being something that either exists or doesn't, democracy is viewed or best viewed as something that may always be had in a greater or lesser quantities. Democratic institutions can almost always be improved to be more inclusive, reflective of the views of more people, and receptive to their influences. In other words, there is an opportunity to strengthen democracy's people component by including more people in decision making as well as its power or will component by granting the people more actual authority. Throughout history, battles for democracy have typically focused on either one or both of these aspects. I will be adding that women do have the right to vote in the majority of the nations today. And also for today, you can see that women can also run as presidential candidate or any candidate, but it's the victory only came about lately. According to legend, New Zealand was the first nation in the world to implement universal suffrage. Yet, even in the world to implement universal opportunity to run for the office of the legislature until 1919. Oh, it's very so. And moving on, many nations originally gave women to the ability to vote before allowing them to run for a political office some years later. And that's what I'm saying earlier. Let's move on to the next question that I will be answering today. That will be what is my concept of a meaningful life, and of course, I will be explaining my answer too. Meaningful life and the happy life are not the same, although they are frequently associated with each other. Consider the most important components of your life right now. They may be close, complicated relationships, or fulfilling career, helping others, or doing spiritual activities. A meaningful life means being engaged, feeling a sense of purpose, and being able to align with your interests and gifts with your greatest deals. Oh, unfortunately, this will be the last question to be answered today. And the question is, what is my general idea of beauty? What a cool question it is. Next, a follow-up question is, what is a beautiful for you? For me rather. So, for me, to make simple things or to make things simple, I would just use my own terms and way of how I do determine, identify, and describe the process of what is the real essence of a general beauty for me. It was simple as hugging your imperfections and flaws of yourself. Being the real you is enough. We don't need to be perfect. It's good to others just to say that we're good or best for them. We don't need to impress them because we're not artists. But maybe they'll appreciate what is you or us, then respect it, right? Beauty begins and you have to mali. Beauty began and you already have it since you were born in the world. That is when you come out from your mother's womb, and in other words, it was your inborn or when you are given birth. Just learn to love yourself because real beauty enhances when you are caring, truly caring, not for the others, but most importantly, for yourself. That would be all for today. Thank you for watching my video and hope you learned something and taken away not food but learnings in the hand.